The central focus now of politics in this country is still revolving around the unfolding leadership crisis for Tony Abbott. Notwithstanding that he managed to be no vote within the last caucus to open up the ballot, there still seems to be a lot of attention happening in both the Fourth Estate and particularly amongst his colleagues who are continuing to destabilise his leadership. When you look at the main policy issues, I think what we'll see in the next week or so will be initiatives by the government to stop the co-payment on Medicare, which has been a significant issue of discontent amongst the public. There's still outstanding legislation when it comes to university reforms and deregulation, again running into trouble with the Senate. But to the government's credit, they're opening up a couple of other fronts. And in this case, national security is still very strong. In the area of welfare reform, we're seeing Scott Morrison putting his signature in this particular area. And interestingly, the polls, or IPSA, which is the Fairfax poll, have shown the government's fortunes improving to such an extent now where it's sort of 49-51 to the ALP opposition. Perhaps it's a false bounce, but this might buy the government, and particularly Tony Abbott, a bit more time to post-budget. In the Queensland environment, it's been about a month now since the government changed hands. 14 new ministers have been sworn into George Street, a reduction of about 4 ministers from the previous regime. And of course they're finding their feet now, where many of them are being catapulted not just into Parliament but into these super portfolios. So time will tell to see how that's unfolding, but the Queensland Parliament will resume very soon at the end of March. When we look at New South Wales, again going into an election on 28th of March, the Baird government is still maintaining a significant advantage in the polls. Last news poll had 54 to 46 for the ALP opposition. The big issue, of course, is privatisation, but again in polling it doesn't seem to be a determining factor yet. But of course there'll be the mother of all scare campaigns that the ALP will run, exactly what they did in Queensland, so watch this space. That's all from the Inside Word.